Living with roommates can be a gamble, but sometimes you hit the jackpot of chaos. When tensions boil over and the cops get called, things go from messy to downright jaw-dropping. Buckle up. These are the wildest, most unhinged roommates on the face of the planet. In a secluded ranch house in the New Mexico desert, a father and son, Perry and Ian, find themselves under scrutiny from police. The officers are investigating the violent assault and subsequent death of Sabrina Calderon, a 26-year-old woman whose battered and bruised body had been rushed to a hospital days earlier.
Come on outside. Keep your hands rocked to you.
What's going on here? Okay, so Ian, is Thomas Lopez staying up here?
The prime suspect in the case is Thomas Lopez, a man with a penchant for violence who had reportedly held Sabrina captive and beaten her daily. Despite Sabrina's father's chilling account, the police face an uphill battle in tracking Lopez. With no photograph, no solid address, and the suspect's habit of constantly moving, he could be anywhere, except perhaps closer than anyone realizes.
Do you know where he might be staying at or anything?
They said he might be in the vent.
Thomas, talk to me, man. I know you're down there.
We don't come over here for simple stuff.
Yeah. So what's up? She's dead.
Sabrina, critically injured and barely clinging to life, provided one last piece of vital information before succumbing to her injuries. She whispered Lopez's name and an address, Perry and Ian's ranch. Armed with this lead but lacking a search warrant, officers approached the house, aware that a murderer could be hiding just feet away. Ian, a young man known for hosting unsavory guests, greeted the officers at the door. Calm but visibly uneasy, Ian allowed them to search the house. What he didn't reveal, however, was that just hours earlier, he had helped Lopez crawl into the vents to evade capture. The police, unaware of this chilling twist, began their investigation.
Hold on a second. Who is it? It's the sheriff's office.
Let me see your hands. Come outside. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Is the dog okay? Hey, Rice, I got contact. I don't have nothing. Okay, sit tight right here, man.
Inside the house, officers methodically cleared each room, guided by Ian and a growing sense of unease. They encountered Bugsy, a friend of Ian's who had been staying at the property. Bugsy's presence raised eyebrows, but ultimately led to no immediate revelations.
Okay. You mind if I flip on some lights?
Yeah, go for it, man. It'd make it easier for both of us.
Outside, Perry tried to distance himself from Ian's actions, expressing frustration over the constant stream of unsavory characters passing through their property. However, he stopped short of implicating his son. But as the sun began to set over the desert, the scene around the ranch took on an even more sinister edge.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think Thomas is hiding in the shop or something like that. But on the off chance that he is, I don't want him to have the ability to talk to a lawyer and say, well, they illegally searched the barn, even if we have permission at this point.
In a separate conversation, Perry admitted hearing sounds of violence through the walls, a woman crying out, pleading for help. Yet he insisted that the voice belonged to someone other than Sabrina. The implication was horrifying. Thomas Lopez had a pattern of abuse, with Sabrina being only one of his victims.
Too many people coming and going. I'm getting sick of it.
So you were in your room. They had been there a couple of days. You heard her getting slapped. You knew she was getting slapped by the way she was sounding. You peeked out. Ian was telling her, hey, y'all need to calm and quit, or whatever he said.
This revelation painted a clearer picture of Lopez as a dangerous and relentless predator, further raising the urgency of the investigation. Perry's vague answers and Ian's stoic silence left the officers questioning how much either man truly knew or were willing to admit.
Maybe I'm confused. Because, okay, once she went to the ER, she never went back to the house, right? Okay, I'm thinking of another chick. Does that make sense?
No. But we'll figure it out.
Bugsy, the second unexpected witness, was no more forthcoming. She claimed she had just arrived at the ranch to do laundry and denied seeing or hearing anything unusual. However, under pressure from detectives, she provided a crucial lead, another address where Lopez had been known to stay. This small but critical detail opened a new avenue for the investigation.
Okay, because you might have seen or heard something that happened out there at Ian's house a couple of days ago.
Honestly, I just got there today to do some laundry, so I
Well, Ian says you were out there a couple of days ago whenever this incident happened. Okay.
At the second location, the horror of Lopez's actions became even more evident. Another of his victims revealed that she had been living in fear, forced to change the locks on her home after enduring his abuse. This woman's account reinforced the officers' growing understanding that Lopez was no ordinary suspect. He was a serial abuser who left a trail of destruction in his wake. The discovery added weight to the evidence against him, strengthening the case as the search intensified.
Good, and yourself?
Pretty good.
Alright.
We're looking for Thomas.
He's not here. My friend Monique, that's her boyfriend.
Okay.
She doesn't stay here because she's...
Is Monique not here either?
She went to Clovis.
Back at the ranch, tensions mounted. Ian's increasingly nervous demeanor didn't go unnoticed by the officers. He seemed to grow quieter, his responses clipped and evasive. Perry, meanwhile, struggled with conflicting emotions. On the one hand, he wanted to cooperate with the authorities. On the other, his paternal instincts urged him to protect his son. This internal tug-of-war only deepened the mystery surrounding their involvement in Lopez's crimes.
Their cameras are down, so I'm using this thing, okay?
Okay.
I'll explain to you why we're here talking. You're not in any kind of trouble, okay? You're not in any trouble. You have any idea why you might be down here?
As the police pieced together testimonies and physical evidence, the grim truth began to emerge. The vent system where Ian had helped Lopez conceal himself offered a perfect vantage point to observe everything happening below. From this hidden perch, Lopez could hear every word, watch every move, and plan his next step. This was no ordinary investigation. It was a race against time to prevent Lopez from striking again. With night falling over the desert and the house seemingly empty, the officers had to decide their next move. What they didn't yet know was how dangerously close they were to uncovering the truth, and just how deeply Ian might be entangled in this sinister web.
Thomas, this is the Roosevelt County Sheriff's Office. Come outside.
He's not answering or nothing.
No, you try. You might that's great.
Back at Ian's house, the search intensified. Every drawer, every crevice, and even the attic were inspected. Yet, there was no sign of Thomas. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. Still, Ian's demeanor remained suspicious. His nervous glances, the way he avoided eye contact, it all suggested he was hiding something. And at the station, all the pieces started to come together.
Thomas, if you can hear me, man, answer. I know you're down there. We saw you in the pictures. Answer me. Just let me know you're okay, man. Are you okay down there? No, man. No, that's not that. Your door.
The crime scene at Ian's house was disturbing enough, but what truly unsettled the detectives was the way everything pointed to a premeditated act. What didn't add up, however, was Ian's role in all of it. Was he a clueless bystander, or had he been involved in something far darker? Under pressure, Ian finally cracked. He revealed a chilling detail that no one could have anticipated. Thomas hadn't fled the scene. He was still inside the house.
Do you know why I'm here?
No.
Remember I told you last time we don't come over here for simple stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember you told me that. So what's up?
She's dead.
You're f***ing me.
Ian's claim led the officers to an area of the house they had initially overlooked, the ventilation system. It was a labyrinth of narrow ducts, winding through the walls and ceilings, and the thought of anyone hiding in such a confined space was enough to unsettle even the most seasoned officers. Armed with flashlights and determination, they searched the vents. The silence was deafening, broken only by the occasional creak of the house settling. It didn't take long for one officer to catch a glimpse of something. A piece of fabric snagged on the edge of a duct. It was Thomas, and he wasn't coming out without a fight.
He was right there? How far, approximately?
He's all the way at the line down there. Another vent there.
The standoff in the vents dragged on for a while. Officers had to strategize carefully. Forcing someone out of such a precarious position could end in disaster. They tried various methods to coax him out, but Thomas remained hidden, as though he were biding his time.
Mirror.
I got a good phone. He needs duct tape and a mirror.
There's probably duct tape in the garage.
You take a phone and flashlight.
Finally, the stalemate broke. Thomas was extracted from the vents, his face a mask of defiance. The chilling part wasn't his capture. It was the way he seemed completely unbothered by the chaos he had caused. As officers pieced together the events, more details surfaced, each one more horrifying than the last. It wasn't just Sabrina's murder that painted Thomas in a sinister light. There were other incidents, disturbing patterns of behavior that had been overlooked for years.
Move all this over here, okay?
You speak English or Spanish?
Both.
Okay. You want
Preferably English, though.
preferably English, and we'll stick with English. So listen to
We
me.
are in America.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Well, what we are here for is...
On a hot August day in 2022, La Crosse, Wisconsin, witnessed a bizarre and tense standoff that spanned hours and demanded every ounce of creativity from law enforcement. It all began with a seemingly straightforward trespassing call. A homeowner had spotted an unidentified man casually wandering onto their property. As the caller trailed him to confront him, the intruder slipped away and entered another house's basement through an exterior door. What seemed like an ordinary disturbance escalated quickly when dispatch received a second call reporting screams from the basement. The voice, echoing from beneath the house, claimed to be stuck. Police arrived and met with neighbors who directed them to the mysterious source of the commotion.
It's like down, there's like voices.
Okay.
I did not. Did you guys get a...
We got a call from a neighbor.
Okay, that was
All
practical.
right, hang tight, hang tight.
No,
Down
come
there,
here.
that's where the voices are coming from?
It's like behind the wood, like by the fire extinguisher.
It was clear someone was wedged deep within the recesses of the house's foundation. The officers identified the man as Jason Rankin, a 49-year-old known to them from prior encounters. As they attempted to communicate with Jason, his yelling suddenly stopped. Searching further, the officers discovered a narrow hole leading to a crawl space, Jason's apparent hideout.
Whose apartment is like right here on this first floor? That's yours? Okay.
And from there, it sounds like he's right underneath my floorboard.
Okay, so it sounds below.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna go down in a minute. We're just waiting for a third officer to get here.
The officers grew increasingly skeptical, suspecting that Jason's trapped narrative might be a ploy to prolong his stay in the crawl space. Despite their repeated attempts to coax him out, Jason refused to cooperate, leaving officers to consider more unconventional methods to extract him.
Cross the front of our canine. 1 hour, you make it big.
Speak.
Speak. Speak. Speak. Speak.
The officers then escalated their approach by deploying pepper spray into the crawl space. The acrid fumes filled the air, but Jason's resolve, or perhaps his stubbornness, held firm. His coughing and protests echoed from beneath the floor, but he still refused to emerge. It was a war of attrition, and Jason seemed determined to outlast the officers' patience.
10 more yards. Jason! Can you hear me?
He became more and more agitated and began threatening officers.
Jason, we don't have to send the dog in.
Hey, Jason, we won't grab your wrists like that, okay? We'll be careful of your shoulders.
As hours dragged on, the police introduced Canine Loki into the situation, hoping the dog might intimidate Jason into surrendering. Instead of retreating, Jason attempted to kick the dog, forcing officers to remove Loki to avoid further escalation. The crawl space became a psychological battleground.
Loki down. Cross police bar with the canine. Come out.
Jason armed himself with a metal pipe, signaling a potentially dangerous escalation. What began as a bizarre nuisance was now a clear safety concern. The officers' attempts to reason with Jason continued, but his erratic behavior only intensified. He waved the metal pipe around and hurled insults, further heightening the standoff's tension.
Come on, Goofy. Wrong way. In. Good boy. Huh?
You out yet?
Oh, no. Still being a little stubborn.
Once the officers deployed tear gas, Jason's resistance finally began to wane. Coughing and disoriented, he inched towards the opening where officers were waiting. After 4 grueling hours, Jason crawled out, where officers quickly placed him under arrest.
Jason, just listen to my instructions. Let's go get some fresh air. Come on towards me. Come on, Jason. Pipe 40 up.
Put it down, put it down. Put the pipe down.
Jason, you're under arrest. Come on towards me.
Put that pipe down.
Despite the physical extraction, Jason's defiance didn't end there. He resisted arrest, thrashing and shouting as officers secured him. Once subdued, he was transported to a local hospital for evaluation. His injuries, though minor, required an overnight stay.
Do not resist. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Put your legs down.
The drama seemed to have finally concluded, but Jason wasn't done making headlines. 2 days later, while still under medical care, Jason attempted to escape from the hospital. His bid for freedom triggered a brief foot chase that ended with his recapture. Once again, he found himself in handcuffs, this time under even stricter supervision.
Hey, Jason. Jason, hey, buddy. 55. He's going back towards Jackson. He's running. Jason, stop. It's the police. Knock it off. Jason, you're not free to leave. Stop. Jason, stop. Jason, you're under arrest.
I am doing this!
Stop.
Get off me!
Jason's escapades didn't just leave the officers exasperated, they also resulted in a bunch of charges. He faced felony failure to comply with officers, multiple counts of trespassing, disorderly conduct, bail jumping, resisting arrest, and even harassment of a police animal. For the residents of La Crosse, this bizarre series of events would remain an unforgettable chapter of local history, a day when a man turned a quiet neighborhood into the scene of a surreal, hours-long standoff.